What is up, guys? I hope you're all doing really well. Today we're back on Iwo Jima defense on the Japanese side, of course. And this game is 154 and 0. Pretty ridiculous. It's a really good match and I decided to cut it up to the best parts. So we've actually missed out on a lot of kills, but all the really interesting parts of the game, I guess, they're all in the video. Now, this is a post commentary for the entire thing since I finally recorded a video without talking over it. This means I'm going to be able to explain absolutely everything I'm doing. Now, a quick update on things that are going to be happening soon. So my exam period is going to be over on Thursday. However, I'm going to be upgrading my PC within the next week or two, I think. And I'm going to be selling the current components to my PC within the next couple of days. This means that I'm going to be without a PC to record new gameplay for a while. Luckily, I still have my laptop, however, and we've got, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of gigabytes of footage to go through. So the content won't stop, but I won't be able to record any new footage. So hopefully that's good enough for you guys. I'm going to still try to keep videos coming out all the time, especially after my exams, and it still should be really good for you guys. Unfortunately, I'm just not going to be able to play for a while, which is going to suck. Now, something just quickly to address, I get so many comments asking how to fly, what my settings are, what my controls are, and now I have a guide to link for that. So in all my new videos, I'm going to be linking my guide. This will allow you guys to learn how to fly planes basically the exact same way I do. And now another thing that's really important is that I'd like to thank you guys. Like, holy shit, I've just came back after not uploading for like 6 months, and my channel's just right back into it. Like, sure, it's not quite as good as it used to be in terms of, numbers, but I don't really care about any of that stuff. I just care that I'm able to help the community, and this is like pretty awesome how fast we've gotten back to like a pretty good stage. Like, just look at this little graphic on the screen. I get these all the time from YouTube now since uploading again, and it's absolutely ridiculous how much support we've been getting. We're about to hit 9k subs soon, so if you're watching this video and you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe. And if you don't want to miss any notifications, then you can hit the bell, I guess. Of course, all that stuff is totally optional. And while we're on the topic of optional stuff, I've recently added memberships to my channel. Basically, you have the option to pay a monthly 4 USD in exchange for a title and badge, along with access to a few custom emojis and member privileges in my Discord. I'll also do a little section at the end of videos where I'll just read out the new members. So now if you check next to the sub button, you should see a little thing that says join. If you click that, it will explain all the stuff that you get. It's obviously not much, it's mainly just to support me. Of course, as I said before, this would be totally optional. You guys are supporting me just by being here, and I'm really doing YouTube for fun and to help people. Just if you want to take that extra step, I've made the option available. Anyways, stupidly long intro over, let's just get into it already. So what you've been seeing so far is just my textbook farming technique in BO5. I just get off to the side, get some real distance, and just lay rounds in and pull off. It's really simple, and I talk about it a lot in all my videos. It's the only way you can fly now against the Fliegerfaust, and the Fliegerfaust has totally killed the old maps. Basically, you just can't do this kind of gameplay with the old planes, it only really works in new explosive rounds. So you'll see me pulling off early, getting 4 kills even. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now we get onto this plane there and he basically just goes over the zone. I know if I follow him I'll die, so I just get a little bit of damage into him. The whole point of doing that is to kind of show him that if he flies over to our side of the map, he might not survive it. So I don't really want to encourage him flying around there, and I'm just going to pepper him up a little bit. Again, we're flying long range here and my bombs didn't reload fast enough. So we're just going to turn around and we'll be ready to drop them in a second. Now this is just kind of how you fly now, you just stay off to the side and you go for long range strafes. It's pretty straightforward. I don't really even worry about dogfighting. I know that if anyone gets on my 6 and they have a dogfighter plane, I can probably reverse them. And after you reverse them, it's kind of boring as well. 80% of the time, they won't even let you get the kill or even continue the dogfight. It's kind of annoying like that. Like, you put that much effort into reversing someone and you want the kill, right? But you're just not going to get it. Another thing you may have noticed so far is where I'm strafing from. So in all my videos I really just try to emphasize that you should strafe from the sides of the map. If you have 2 pilots, you can kind of do this thing where one strafes from one side and the other strafes from the other. This is just an absolutely devastating combo because they can only look at one of you at once. So one of you might get Fleeger and you'll have to pull off a little bit, but the other one's just going to be farming everyone. I've done this with a squad mate and we really just had to stop doing it, otherwise they weren't going to push up at all. You don't even need to be that good of pilots, just get 1 or 2 kills each and you're going to absolutely rail the enemy team at this sector. It's a really effective tactic and I'd recommend it. So now what you see here is that I'm strafing this enemy plane. He basically gets too close to our spawn, so I punish him for that. But what I was talking about before was I'm strafing from our spawn sometimes. I recommended not doing this before, but I've had to do it because the enemy team always flanks on this sector. It's the way you push it. You flank B or you flank A and you just get on the sector. Once you get one, you try to roll onto the second. Now, if they flank, it means that there's going to be Fliegerfausts below me where I don't really want them. So I'd rather stray from our spawn and be in vision but pull off early, rather than not being able to pull off at all. It's really that simple, and it's these kind of judgments that you'll just be able to make when you get better at piloting. Making these decisions on the fly, pun intended by the way, yeah, so being able to do this, it's just such a big part of piloting. You're going to get faced with a lot of different threats. The players that you're playing against, they're always going to want to kill you when you're on like a 50 kill streak and above. So you're going to have to adapt to a lot of different situations. Honestly, this just comes with experience, and it's a really important skill to develop. Now, talking about aim, it's really that simple in this plane. You point at them and the spread will either go well or go badly. You have to be able to lead the cannons quite a lot, and obviously I don't really know what it's like to be new to the game, so maybe aiming is harder than it looks, but with all my hours in BF4 I really didn't find it too hard. Now, as a quick comment, I'm trying to make them not push at this stage. I want to get a really high kill match, and them capping this point really wouldn't be very good to me. So I know that the next point to kind of take over this sector would be to take the high ground here, and the enemies are grouping up under it. We've only got a few friendlies left on the hill, so I'm just going to try to clear as many enemies from the low ground that are trying to push up. Once I kill these enemies, it's going to be the foot in the door we need to really get this sector back. So other than that, we're just flying around and we're keeping our distance. So in my video on flying, I really tried to explain that you want to attack the closest targets. The reason for this is if you don't attack the closest targets and you go for a further group, there could be a closer group with a Fliegerfaust in it. If you get into the Fliegerfaust's range and there's a Fliegerfaust plus anything else, you basically die instantly. So you want to just take out the closest targets. An alternative to this, if they're close enough, i.e. maybe only 20 meters from each other, is you can just pull off 20 meters earlier. That makes total sense, right? It's just how you do it. So as you can see there, I'm attacking someone that's further away. I know there's a Fliegerfaust closer, but I just pull off earlier. Another really cool tip is that you can see how far the objective is from my plane. I'm really using this right now, and I'm basically turning around so as soon as I spin around the objective, I'm at least 700 meters away. This is the effective range of my cannons, and I can basically maximize the amount of time I'm shooting. This is honestly such an overlooked technique, and it's a really useful way to tell if you just kind of eyeball it yourself. After flying a long time, I kind of know how far 600 meters is. And it's important to kind of be able to eyeball these distances as well. You want to know, importantly, about 400 meters since that's the range of the Fliegerfaust. As you can see, we've now capped A back, and the game's going in our favor again. So, I see our friendlies dogfighting over their spawn. I'm not actually going to go and engage this. A lot of you guys might go and fly after those enemies fighting in their spawn, but if you've watched my videos for a while, you'll probably know not to. And by a while, I obviously mean Pacific. Back in the day, you used to be able to go dogfight anywhere, and it was really good. Basically, dogfighting isn't as important as it used to be. Back in the day, you could basically have a dogfight anywhere, and that would mean that a good pilot would just take out both planes at the start of the match and keep them down the whole game. This was a huge help for the team, and you'd win a lot of games off this. Bombers obviously couldn't farm back then, and you know, it's a really important thing to have some value to the fighters in being able to kill other planes. Nowadays, you basically can't dogfight anymore, and a lot of people don't dogfight anymore. I'd actually encourage not to dogfight anymore. And what you just saw there real quick was me basically flying around a little and letting them cap the point. Once they've capped the point, what I did was I flew away again, and I let the enemy team kill all our remaining friendlies. It's a bit of a douche move, but I want to try to hit the massive games, so I want all the tickets to farm for longer. Anyways, back to dogfighting. In this meta, you don't really have to have many dogfighting skills. What you can do is you can sit on your side of the map. Either A, they don't attack you, B, they do attack you and die to a Flieger on the way there, or C, they do attack you, get into a dogfight with you, and you can just fly back to your spawn and loop around the repair bay. This is honestly such a bullshit tactic, and I really hate that it works. Anyways, it is part of the game right now, so you may as well use it. However, the dogfighting that you still have to do in the game is probably the most challenging aspect of dogfighting. You're not really going to be on the offense very much, as you really just can't attack planes anymore without dying to Fliegerfausts. This means that you're going to be defending against parts that are dumb enough to dogfight in your area. Now, this is the hardest part of dogfighting, obviously defense. It's really just creativity, and in this game it's obviously a lot less creative than previous titles. However, you still need to kind of have a few tricks up your sleeve to really shake people off. Now the main move that I like using is called a brake switch. So switches aren't really as effective as they used to be since planes turn really slowly and FOV is really high. They can often see what you're doing, however they still do buy you a little bit of time. And what I mean by switch is basically when you're turning and then you rapidly just change your direction. It can be a slight change in direction or it can be a big change in direction, but what I'm talking about here is doing kind of consecutive scissor-like switches, and what you'll basically do is you'll apply brakes whenever they can't see you. Since they can't see you when you're braking, it's going to really give you a good chance to kind of reverse them. I've been able to reverse a lot of people using this technique, and the only plane that I really worry about is the Dogfighter loadout, and that thing is just scary no matter what. Now if you want to learn this move, I've actually got a video from ages ago that explained a lot of defensive flying. It goes for the most basic stuff, and it goes into brake switching as well. Honestly, it's really useful to learn that kind of stuff, and I'll link the video in the description. Now coming back to live gameplay, you're about to see a little dogfight here. It's not a real good dogfight or anything, it just shows a few little techniques I want to give you guys. So I come off this strafe here, drop the bombs, and then as I fly away, I give my back to the enemy pilot. Luckily, I can just invert my plane and kind of fly downwards towards him. Now if you've ever shot at someone doing this, you have to nose down a lot or you pull back up. He pulls up and I kind of just scoop up into him. I've instantly reversed this fight that should have been even. Of course he does a smart thing and flies away. Now that little match up there is literally the state of dogfighting in Battlefield 5 right now. I've had a couple really good dogfights since coming back, and by really good I mean basically just rolling through them in about 10 seconds. I like defending more than offending at this stage. It really just is that easy to fly on offense in this game. You literally never ever get surprised by your enemy. Like one of my main weaknesses in, let's say, Battlefield 4 dogfighting was against a really creative pilot, I would often lose them. Now in this game, I just have so much FOV and so little turn speed that I'm just not going to lose dogfights anymore. It's really stupid that they made the FOV this high and made the plane turn this slow. Now I've got a friend that came from Battlefield 4 recently, and he was just so surprised at how slow the planes fly in this game. He couldn't get his head around the physics, and it's just so silly. And I realised after playing Battlefield 4 again recently, how clunky these things really are. Now quickly on the topic of Battlefield 4, I have some gameplay recorded, some pretty nutty attack jet gameplay, a little bit in the attack heli, and a lot of infantry gameplay as well, just little random clips. I want to make a Battlefield 4 video just talking about all the things I love about the game. I don't know if you guys are interested in this. I think I'll just do it anyway because I love that game so much. It's honestly my favourite game of all time, and I'd be really happy if they remastered that or Battlefield 3. Honestly, any new Battlefield though. Let me know in the comments which Battlefield you guys want to see remastered. I'm pretty sure I'll see a lot of Battlefield 4s and a lot of Battlefield 3s. Now back to live gameplay, you guys have just seen them cap the next sector. This is basically just going to open up the farm to me yet again, and we're just going to drag the game out even longer. I've never lost a round on Iwo Jima, so I like dragging games out. I'm not really fussed about whether we win or lose, but I know that if I want to win the match, I can kind of turn it around. That's how overpowered planes are right now, and it's kind of balanced in a way though. So I see balance as the literal definition of the word, like if you got two scales and put the two things on either side, if it balances, the word's there for me to use. If the scale's balanced, that means it's balanced, right guys? So if you put the Fliegerfaust on one side and you put the planes on the other side, I think it'd be pretty balanced. The Fliegerfaust is absolutely ridiculous. It's the best infantry AA weapon we've ever seen. And the thing is, infantry AA have never had insane ranges, and the Fliegerfaust doesn't. The plane is supposed to beat the infantry, and you're supposed to use more kind of direct counters to it if you want to kill the plane. Obviously the 40mm AA guns, while underrated by most, are actually the most scary thing aside from dogfighter planes in my opinion. Now for the overall state of the game, I think the Fliegerfaust and this plane needs a nerf. That would of course maintain that balance because you're doing the same to both sides of the equation. Now the reason why I want to see this is to basically revive all the old maps. You can't fly planes anymore on other maps. It's just so sad to see. Like, I don't want to come off cocky here, but I've got a lot of plane kills, and I've got a lot of kind of plane experience, and I think I'm decent in the planes. And there's no way I can fly the old fighters. I can probably stay around a high altitude and take dogfights when I find them, but there's no fun in that. Because the whole point of taking air superiority is so you can do stuff against the ground. Honestly, air superiority as a concept was ruined in Battlefield 1 and ruined again in Battlefield 5, because it used to be that the fighters took air superiority and then they kind of leveraged it for themselves. That was kind of cool, like you had to earn your farming. Now in this game, you take air superiority for the bombers. I just don't see the fun in that, like it's got to be fun for both sides. Now talking about counters, I reckon the underrated one is the 40mm AA, which is what I'm fighting right now. That thing is just absolutely nasty. Like, I've died to it so many times just because of the pure range it has. It's not the 40mm AA that does the chunk of damage, but you could be just getting out of a dogfight, you could be in a dogfight over your spawn, or you could have got fleeted a little, and you just be flying and just get bonked by a couple of your shells, and you're dead. That's you're just out of the match. It's absolutely crazy good, and it's so underrated. I'd recommend using that against planes along with the Fliegerfaust, and if you really want them dead, just get a dogfighter loadout. The planes are supposed to be countered by the planes as well. A lot of people forget this. The best counter to a plane has always been another plane in every single Battlefield game. Now, again, what I've said before is you want to focus key areas on the map. Areas that the enemy basically has to take, that's basically where you want to be killing them. So on that corner there, that's basically where they build up to fight our friendlies. If I can just keep wiping that corner, they're never going to push A. It's absolutely ridiculous. However, I do kind of want them to push A at the same time. I think at this stage I just realized that they weren't going to cap it, so I farmed them as hard as I could. Another thing I'm doing here is putting my own tips into practice. I said in my tips video that you should always kill a 40mm AA as soon as it starts pestering you. I'm just going to keep doing that. It's really important to kill. However, if I see a big infantry group, I am willing to take a bit of damage from the 40mm, as I always, and this is another tip guys, you always want to keep your auto repair on you. Now another thing I've been hearing a lot of you guys ask is how to level up the planes. You guys are struggling to level up, I get it, and you want to get a little bit of that 20mm action in before it gets nerfed. Totally understand. Now what you want to do to level up planes is to dogfight. It sounds a bit tricky at first, but it's the only real way you can do it. You can dogfight and you can kill tanks with the bombs. If you go in with the cannons, you're just gonna die. It took me about 2 games to level up the planes myself. I was dying a bit, but once I got that level 2 upgrade, oh man, it got really good really fast. Now guys, you'll notice that we're getting to the end of the match, and something that you guys should really just acknowledge is that you don't have to push it too hard. At the end of matches, that's kind of where the peak of the enemy countering you gets. They're going to want to end your kill streak before the match is over, and they've just been kind of building up the entire match. And if you had like a KPM over time chart, I'm sure as you get to the end of it, you'd see that your KPM gets really low. Like at the end of this match, I'm just getting countered so hard, I can only do so much. Luckily our team has really got a hold of them here, and this is the kind of effect you have. Once you go really well on the plane, the enemy actually can't push, because they're just sitting in their spawn fleegering you, and they're sitting on 40mm AAs. The whole idea of this point is to get inside the cave where the planes can't kill you. The enemy team just doesn't do that, they don't really have any momentum, and they're just going to sit back and Fliegerfaust, and they basically have half the team out of action. Now what you'll see there is my friendly plane dying to the Fliegers, so it's a success for them, but the game is a loss. Now this is the thing I just kind of don't like about Breakthrough. If I had more sectors, like only if I had more sectors to kill them, this could have easily been a 200 kill match. I have something like the 3rd or 4th highest KPM in this plane in the world, yet I haven't been able to hit a 200 yet because I just can't let them push far enough. I'm not willing to slow down too much because, honestly, what's the point? We're just playing the game for fun and who cares about records? Anyways, that is basically the end of the match here. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to let the rest of it play out. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to hit subscribe, and if you've got any questions, leave them in the comments. I think that'll be about it. Just take it easy guys. Peace.